welcome back to Shemsuniverse. So today, guys, we're going to discuss maturity number 4 with Pythagorean numerology. So the maturity number 4 deals directly with limitation and restriction. So this maturity number brings you the ability to utilize step-by-step processes to get your endeavors done. It also gives you the ability to actually revisit some parts of your past where you may have felt restricted, where you may have felt that you were being overly criticized and judged by others for maybe your out-of-the-box ideas. Where this maturity number comes from, I'll do a recap on it once again. Life path number plus your expression number, you guys should know it by now. Add those together and you get the maturity number, better known as a realization number with a lot of Western numerologists. So with that being said, this number does bring forth a very great energy in regards to getting things done and pretty much checking off a to-do list. What it wants to teach you is it's under the effect of Rahu. So we already know Rahu is very, very chaotic. I guess they'd call it Uranus in the Western way, but Rahu is definitely recognized as the major arbitrator for the 4. So it's definitely a good representation. And what that means is it's very chaotic. It brings forth a lot of random things that will just happen to you. And with chaos comes order, and with order comes chaos. So when your life is introduced with a lot of chaos, you need to find a way to structure it and make order out of it, because in that chaos there's actually something that's meant for you to learn, and also something that's meant for you to actually accelerate off of if you actually have the mind to do it. A lot of the time is my first step, if I had this maturity number, which I actually do, you have to look at it from a perspective of you need to find out what's the chaos and what's causing it. Once you're able to find out and accept what the chaos is, whether that be through family issues or if it's through something of maybe you're a martyr to your job and they don't appreciate you, you then can understand your problem. And then as soon as you understand a problem, you're able to come up with a solution. The next step now would be the solution. So the solution is, what's the vision of what would you rather want? So you have your problem. So what would be the better alternative? When you're able to find the better alternative to that said problem, you're then able to look at it from a very different view. We're already looking at it from a different perspective because we're understanding that chaos is necessary to cause order, right? So the first step here is to structure a sort of game plan for how you're going to get out of the situation. So you need to have a vision first, then you need to write out a plan. After you write out that plan, Rahu or Uranus wants to know what you're willing to actually sacrifice for that said solution, whether that be through sacrificing vices such as drinking, smoking, alcohol. All of these things are going to bring you closer and closer to your grand purpose. When your grand purpose outweighs your problems will diminish, because your purpose and your vision is going to have to come to clairvoyancy to everybody, because they're going to see it through your thoughts, words, and deeds. With that being said, that then is going to condense down to vision, planning, and what we call competence. Meaning you're going to have your vision, you're going to have your plan based on whatever your said problem may be. We're all individuals, we all have different issues. And then you have to have competence to follow through with that narrative. Once you're able to do that, you've mastered the number 4 as a maturity number, because now it's forcing you to mature and understand that problems are actually a good thing. And that's very hard to tell somebody that's actually in the midst of problems that, hey, what you're going through is a really great thing, but it's going to make you grow exponentially if you actually perceive it in the right and correct way. When you're able to have that competence, you're then going to have results. People are going to see results and appreciate you more. A lot of people with this maturity number complain about being underappreciated. And the thing about it is, you're taking sacrifices and you're doing things, and you might be already in the middle of the plan. You might already be a couple steps ahead of what I'm saying, but you have to stick with it. The 4 is going to throw a lot of things in your way that are going to be quite random in your eyes, but it's not random. It's part of your karma. And you need to overcome these debts. You need to overcome your contract on this planet in order to move on and ascend. And when you understand that, you're able to then do it. That's it for the number 4 as a basic. We're still going to be covering the number 4 throughout the video, but there's 2 other numbers that relate with it as well. Now we have karmic debt 13. 13 is what I particularly have as a maturity number, which is quite a difficult maturity number to have. It demands a lot of focus, meaning it demands number 1 energy, of course, which is in 13, meaning having confidence, having that sun energy, that solar energy to motivate those around you, and also the ability to see things through to completion. Then you have the number 3, which is all about creativity, thinking outside the box, and then seeing things for what they are and still being positive. Very hard to do in negative situations, but you still need to think positive. Then of course we have the number 4, which we just went over, which is becoming more of a structure. So understanding yourself, mastering yourself to the number 1, finding a creative outlet and actually being creative with your problem, which is number 3, and then structuring the 1 and 3 into number 4, which is actually going to help you ascend and accelerate your life to a better alternative. So if you're somebody who is, for example, impoverished, you've never been able to save money, you're in massive debt, you don't have a car, you maybe are living with your parents, and you're like in your 30s, 40s, whatever, this is your way to say, let me write out a grand plan to say, I live on my own, I have 100,000 in my account, my debt, I guess credit balance is now looking at like 750 to 800, and you're able to actually start saying, I'm going to do this, and then creating a plan with the number 4 to help you do it. Once you utilize this energy, it can have a very, very massive turn the way your life goes, especially when you pay off the karmic debt. A lot of Western numerologists I've noticed cover the karmic debt numbers in such a negative connotation that people become fearful of them. You don't necessarily need to become fearful of a karmic debt, you need to become aware of it. And when you're aware of it, you understand that, well, when you pay off a debt, just like with credit, your credit score goes way up. And it's the same way in the spiritual realm that we're talking about here. When you pay off that karmic debt by focusing on a purpose and actually really penetrating that into reality and being relentless with it, no matter what the obstacles may be, you then will have a lot better results, and you'll accelerate the process of your spiritual evolution massively. The last one I want to go over with you guys is the number 22, hardest one for sure. Master number 22, greatest potential, all positives, I'm sure. But this does give you double lunar energy. You have number 2, then that's those 4. 4 and 2 don't get along whatsoever. So we have 2, which is all about imagination, being very watery, being very emotionally volatile. With number 4, that wants you to be very rigid, very just focused, no emotion, pragmatic. So you need to incorporate your subconscious mind to this. My number 1 recommendations to master number 22s in the maturity number position would be to, first off, understand your imagination. Understand that your imagination can become a reality, and understand that your thoughts will bend your reality a lot. You have an enhanced subconscious mind that actually does shift your paradigm, and it will shift the way things go without you actually doing anything in the process, without you moving anything. Things will move. It's very hard to explain until you experience this. With the number 22 comes a great responsibility with power. Maturity number 13, believe it or not, is actually easier than the 22 because you have to control your mind with the 22. You really need to focus on the way you're thinking. You can't afford to have doubt. You can't afford to be having negative thoughts throughout the day and then just be doing something for the sake of doing it, just sticking with the plan. You really need to have a passion for your plan, and you need to find a way that you're going to have a grand realization of some sort. You're going to have to leave a legacy behind. So if you're somebody that may be rigid or somebody that never really thought much of yourself, you need to start. If you have a maturity number 22, it's a very, very big deal because the universe is asking you to mature into somebody who is a master builder, an architect, if you will. Somebody who's actually willing to go the extra mile, do what needs to be done, and lead society as a whole. A lot of maturity number 22s, their grand aspirations are going to be things like politics, things like becoming martyrs, things like maybe becoming leaders in whatever religion that they fall under. These are the things that are going to call upon you because you need to influence people on a more grand scheme, more so than even the 11. And when you're able to then master these concepts, meaning first master what I said in the number 4, and then master your mind, you're going to have a very, very spectacular life. A lot of the times when the 22 is in your chart any at all, when you're 40, it's like your life just really begins and it gets much more extreme. My number 1 tip, I guess I would say for the 22, is to really practice affirmations, but mean them. A lot of self-help books talk about affirmations and they say, oh, you need to use affirmations and say this thing over and over in the mirror. I'm great, I'm powerful, blah, blah, blah. It's garbage. What you really need is to really believe that. Your affirmation needs to be your breath. Every breath you take, you need to actually feel who you are and understand the energy. If you can understand what I'm saying in this video, you can change your life as of today. Because you're actually going to take in who you are as a person. You're going to put that crown on yourself. You're actually going to move forward in a very spectacular way. And when things get in your way, you're either going to maneuver them through manipulation or you're going to completely crush them. That's what needs to be done if you're a 22. But you need to see your vision through or your life will not be fulfilled, and you'll probably will incur a karmic debt in your next reincarnation if you do believe in that. All right, so that should cover the whole spectrum with the maturity number 4s. I know that's quite a bit, guys. Bit of a longer video because 4 is definitely a very karmic sort of number that brings forth a lot of different challenges to make you a king or queen in your own reality. All right, so thank you guys so much for your time today. If you have any questions whatsoever, I know it was quite an earful, just leave it in the comments for me or hit me up on my Instagram, Shemsuniverse 8.0, or you can get at me at my email, shemsuniverse@hotmail.com. Aside from that, guys, please like, subscribe. Holla at me. That's it for today, guys. Peace.